So this verse doesn't have a purport. That's why we are going to read the next one also. Ata samira vega viduta venu vikarshana jito gra davana las tatvanam alelihana sahatena dadaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. While he was wondering about, a wild forest fire began. This fire was caused by the friction of bamboos, which were being blown by the wind. In that fire, the entire forest near Utakachala and the body of Lord Rshabhadeva were burned to ashes. Purport. Such a forest fire can burn the external bodies of animals, but Lord Rshabhadeva was not burned, although he apparently seemed so. Lord Rshabhadeva is the super soul of all living entities within the forest, and his soul is never burned by fire, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Adahyo Yam. The soul is never burned by fire. Due to Lord Rshabhadeva's presence, all the animals in the forest were also liberated from material engagement. Magyana timirandasya ginanjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are discussing here in the beginning of 5th canto the life of Lord Rshabhadeva, who is known as one of the great kings in this universe, and also as Shakti Avesha avatar of the Lord. In one of the previous verses, Srila Prabhupada was explaining that yes, Rshabhadeva is incarnation of the Lord, and he is from the category of Shakti Aveshas. That means he was specially empowered to show something, to teach people something. And of course, Lord Rshabhadeva was one of the great emperors of the world, and he gave a proper example how a kingdom should be ruled and how the great kings, the Kshatriyas, should take care of the praja or the citizens in their kingdom. Also, he gave many spiritual instructions. Some of them are very famous and written in Srimad Bhagavatam, like, for example, Nayam deha deho bhajandri loke kashtan kaman arhatam vidbhujamye tapo divyam putra kayena sattvam shudyet yasmat saukyam tvanantam brahma saukyam tvanantam. So Lord Rshabhadeva is explaining that human life is not meant simply for trying to give pleasure to our senses. And he's saying this is available in all kinds of forms of life. But rather, in the human form of life, we can achieve something greater. And for this reason, we have to go through divine austerity, tapo divyam. We have to voluntarily take some austerity so that we can realize the superior kind of happiness, of joy. Brahma saukyam tvanantam. And this kind of joy is unlimited to make us always happy. And Lord Rshabhadeva, he spoke this. These are his famous instructions to his sons. But also he showed it in his life. in this world, we have many people who are speaking, many people who are clever, intelligent, and they read one book or 5 books or 10 books, and they know, and they speak, they can explain the things, but not so many people can act the things that they are saying, the things that they are speaking, to show with their personal example. So Lord Rshabhadeva spoke, but then also he showed how a kingdom should be ruled, how people should be protected. And also when the time came, he showed how, although one may have many, many, many material possessions, and he may be attached to them, gradually he should start going in a opposite direction, namely decreasing his material attachments and gradually becoming free from them, so that at the time of leaving the body, at the end of life, he can think about the Lord and of nothing else, so that he can go back to the spiritual world. So here in these verses, we have explanation how Lord Rshabhadeva left the kingdom. Although he was such a great personality, he was acting practically as a madman, and he was just loitering around, and he was trying to can you hear me, dear devotees? Everything is fine with audio? Okay, there's
I have no problem. I hear you very well.
Okay, thank you. So yes, he was traveling, and he was on such a high spiritual level of consciousness that the externals, it doesn't matter what the externals were at this point of his existence, and he was just walking. And of course, internally, his life was very deep. So we have many descriptions in Srimad Bhagavatam of personalities who at some point of their life, they started acting in this way, apparently as crazy people for the outside world. And in this way, gradually he went to South India, and he reached to this forest, and he entered the forest. And Srila Prabhupada is saying the forest was burned, the animals were burned, and apparently his body was also burned, but actually his body was not burned. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada is saying, actually Lord Rshabhadeva is the super soul of all living entities, meaning he is a representation of the Lord. So his body cannot be actually burned. And Srila Prabhupada is giving this example, a verse from Bhagavad Gita, Chedyo yam adahyo yam akledyo shoshaeva cha nitya sarvagata astanur achalo yam sanatana. So the soul cannot be moistured by water, cannot be burned by fire, cannot be dried by wind. It exists always, nitya, sanatana. Still, because Lord Rshabhadeva was present in this forest, all the citizens of the forest, all the animals, they got liberated from the material engagement, Srila Prabhupada is saying. So this shows the purity and the power of Lord Rshabhadeva. The same thing happened when Krishna was present on the battle of Kurukshetra. All the soldiers who are present there, Srila Prabhupada is saying, they also got liberation from material engagement. So now I was thinking, these Avadutas, they look strange for the people. And I was thinking, okay, in the modern world, we are not supposed to act in this way. Like Srila Prabhupada did not give us this example. He did not say that, okay, at some point of life, we just have to start acting as a madman. But actually, if we think about it, often in the eyes of the people, actually, we are, the way how we are living our life, it's like a mad people. Why? Because for the people outside is, it's a very strange how you're going to sacrifice all the valuable opportunities for sense gratification and material happiness, material assets, material opportunities, and you're going to close yourself in a temple or in some spiritual community and just live there and be happy. So in the eyes of the people, we often look like avadutas, actually. They cannot, many of the material people outside, they cannot actually understand how, why we are living our life in this way, how we are happy by living in this way. For them, it's a little bit strange. And of course, devotees, they experience something that material people, they cannot experience. They have depth in their internal life, in their spiritual life. And that's why for them, material externals are not so important, because they have something more valuable. Like this story with Sanatana Goswami, when this man understood that Sanatana Goswami is keeping a very precious touchstone on the garbage pile. And this man went and asked for this stone. And of course, Sanatana Goswami gave it very easily. And then he thought for a while, and he figured it out. Wait a minute, if he's giving me this so precious thing so easily, that means he has something more precious. And he went back and he asked Sanatana Goswami to give him the most precious thing that he has. And Sanatana Goswami gave him the process of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, which is actually the most precious things. And this is what we have. This is what devotees have. They have this process of Krishna consciousness. They have meditation on Krishna. They have the shelter of Krishna, which helps them to go through all different kinds of problems and difficult situations. That was the other thing that was addressed in this verse, that out of nowhere, suddenly, because of friction of the bamboos, a forest fire appear and burn everything. So many times Srila Prabhupada spoke about this forest of material existence, and how suddenly this fire in this forest of material existence appears without any apparent reason, just because of friction of bamboos, just because people are together or certain circumstances, suddenly fire appears. And this is unavoidable in the material world. Some kind of misery, some kind of problems will be here. We have connections and we want to keep our connections, but material world does not allow us. We cannot for eternity keep the relationships, the connections in this world. Sometimes it is given the example in Bhagavatam that people in this world, they're like two straws that are just traveling down the stream, a river, and sometimes they come together and they stay together for some amount of time, and then at some point they just separate and then continue traveling down the stream, but separated. or we don't want to have any sources of pain, but the pain is coming in the material world. This body is constantly creating some problems, some pain, like our friend Pandava Prabhu. He just few days ago he had a very nice plan because the weather was very nice, how he'll go to the park and he'll chant and he'll relax and he'll enjoy nature. And suddenly he twisted his ankle and his plan changed. And now he's staying already a week in the room. Of course, he's very efficient. He's doing lots of reading and other spiritual activities. But the point is we have some plan how the things will develop, but very often they don't develop in this way. So constantly some difficulties, some problems in this material world. Padam padam ya dvipadam. On every step there are problems, there are disturbances, and that's why Bhagavatam is saying, Natesham, this material world is not for the devotees. This material world is for people who are so much attached to material things, they don't want to move forward. Of course, we are also attached, although externally we are trying to practice to be a devotees. But that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us all these descriptions of the amazing pastimes of the incarnations of the Lord, Ishakata. Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us also a description about the temporary existence of the material world and at the same time eternal blissful existence of the spiritual world by describing the different pastimes happening there, especially in later cantos like 10th canto. So the idea of this description is to make us enthusiastic to go back to the spiritual world and to live this temporary pity material sense gratification. This is the idea. That's why Krishna is giving us so many amazing pastimes again and again and again and again. We are giving with Pandava seminar called Krishna Devotee of His Devotees. And in one place of this seminar, it is described how Krishna, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, of course, and he has all these amazing qualities. And 4 of his qualities are unique because no other incarnation than Krishna have them or manifest them. Like, for example, Krishna is amazing flute player, and his playing on flute is so attractive and so sweet. No other incarnation of God shows this quality. That's why he's known as Venu Madhurya. Then other very, very special quality of Krishna is the beauty of his form. Lord has so many forms and all of them are beautiful, and some of them are especially showing his beauty, like Vamanadev or Balaram or Mohini. But still, the form of Krishna, Shyama Sundara, is so unique in the beauty that it's called Rupa Madhurya, the most beautiful and the most sweet form. We are attracted to so many things in this material world. They look so attractive to us. But actually, all these attractive things, they are just expansion of a fraction of the beauty of the original form of Krishna. So if we are so much attracted to these things, how much more attractive will be this personal, sweet form of the Lord, Shyama Sundara. And then another quality of Krishna is he has amazing, deep, intimate, and sweet relationships with his devotees. Bhakta Madhurya. Of course, all the incarnations of the Lord, that's why they appear. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasa tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhanam vinashach dushkridam dharma samsthapanartaya sambhavam yuge yuge. All the incarnations of the Lord, they appear to establish the religious principles and to punish the demons and to reciprocate with the devotees, to exchange loving relationships with the devotees. But the ways of exchange that Krishna shows, no other incarnation can show this kind of pastimes, this kind of amazing loving exchanges between the devotees. And the last of the four exceptional qualities of Krishna is Lila Madhurya. Krishna is showing a pastimes that no other incarnation shows. And especially his childhood pastimes, they are so sweet and amazing. So Krishna comes and he shows all these pastimes to help us to be attracted to him and to develop this strong desire to go back to the spiritual world. Now, in this seminar, it was explained from Srila Jiva Goswami that out of all amazing qualities that Krishna has and manifests, two of those qualities, they are the most special, the most important. And who are those two qualities? These are that Krishna is melting with love for his devotees. And the second quality is that Krishna is controlled by the love of his devotees. He cannot do anything. He cannot help himself but do what his devotees want him to do because they love him so much. In Nectar of Devotion, we have a description of the 6 qualities of characteristics of devotional service. And it is said that they manifest by pairs, 2 by 2, on the different levels of advancement in devotional service. The devotee manifests this quality. So on the level of practicing Vaidhisarana Bhakti, the devotee manifests 2 qualities. Then on the level of Bhava Bhakti, the devotee also manifests 2 qualities. And on the level of Prema Bhakti, the devotee also manifests 2 qualities. And the 2 qualities that the devotee manifests on the level of Prema are Sandrananda Visheshatma. That means the devotee is literally melting out of love for Krishna. And Shri Krishna Akarshini. His devotional service is so pure and so intense that he can control with his love Krishna. And actually, these are the 2 main qualities that Krishna manifests from his side. He also melts with love for his devotees, and he is completely controlled by the devotee. He cannot do anything else if devotee wants him to do something. And of course, many examples can be given. Actually, the whole Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, they are story after story showing this thing. But one nice story we can give illustrating this point is, for example, Damodar Lila, how Mother Yashoda wanted to punish Krishna, and because of love of his mother, he surrendered. But the interesting moment is that in the beginning, Mother Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna, but Krishna does not want to be bound by his mother. And that's why there was like a tension between the two desires, the desire of Krishna and the desire of Mother Yashoda. And because Krishna didn't want it for a long time, Mother Yashoda could not bind him. But then Acharyas are explaining that at some point the Icha Shakti of the Lord, the potency that always automatically fulfills all the desires of the Lord, staying next to the Prema Shakti of the devotee, the Prema Shakti that is coming from the heart of the devotee, understood that it's weaker. And that's why the Prema Shakti from the heart of the devotee took over. And that's why Krishna surrendered. Krishna surrendered to the desire of his mother. So in this situation, the love of the devotee prevails and Krishna surrenders. And this is happening again and again and again. So many examples how actually Krishna cannot do anything else but to be controlled by the desires of his devotees. Some time ago, I was giving a class and I was meditating on the Chatur Shloki verses from Bhagavad Gita. And when I was reading them one after the other, actually the understanding that came from these verses is that basically what is happening in these four verses. In the first verse, Krishna is saying, Aham sarvasya prabhava mata sarvam pravartate. I'm the source of all material and spiritual wealth, and everything is under my control. And if someone gets to know this really, practically, he will engage in my devotional service. And then in the second verse, Krishna is describing if someone got this point and he's engaging in devotional service to him, how he's doing this, what are his practical activities. Machita Madgata Prana. He becomes completely devoted to Krishna. He constantly thinks about Krishna. Bodayantas Parasparam. And he gets so much happiness and joy to discuss the pastimes of Krishna, to discuss Krishna Katha with the devotees, to associate with the devotees. To Shanticha Ramanticha. He is getting again and again joy, happiness from this activity. So basically the first verse is explaining who is Krishna, and the second verse is explaining, okay, those who understood really Krishna, they will start doing these particular activities. They will serve him in this way. And then the third and the fourth verse, they are describing actually how Krishna will reciprocate to these activities of the devotee. How he will personally make sure that they always have the needed intelligence so that they can make more and more spiritual advancement, and how he is personally protecting them, and he is not allowing the devotee to stay ignorant and not to make spiritual advancement. And it's interesting, Srila Prabhupada in the purport to the fourth verse is saying, we have, like in our sampradaya, we have so many great acharyas and so many tomes, so many spiritual books, but if for one or other reason devotee does not take advantage of those, then Krishna personally from his heart will give him knowledge, will give him inspiration, what to do and how to do in order to make more and more spiritual advancement and go back to him, back to the spiritual world. So again, the same point is coming, how Krishna enjoys devotional service rendered by his devotees, but he does not just enjoy. Rather, he enjoys more when he can reciprocate to the devotional service rendered by his devotees. And this is the amazing feature, the greatness of this form of the Lord. Yes, Bhakta Vatsala, Krishna who is devoted to his devotees. We have many great personalities in this universe and other universes, and all of them, they can be called Bhagavan, the Lord, the Master. They are Ishvara, they are great controllers, they are very powerful. But Krishna has something else unique. He's also very powerful. He can also do amazing things. But that's not the most attractive feature of Krishna. His most attractive feature is his sweetness, how he is ready to exchange sweet relationship with his devotees. And of course, as a devotees, we have to learn from this, and we have to act in the same way. If Krishna is so eager to associate, exchange sweet relationships with his devotees, that means we also have to learn how to do that, how to have a sweet, loving exchanges with the devotees. Not to quarrel with the devotees, not to find fault or not to find faults and discrepancies in the devotees, rather to appreciate them the way how Krishna appreciates the devotees. That's why Krishna is saying this famous verse from Bhagavad Gita, Apichet suduracharo bhajante mam anani bhak sadureva. If someone is engaged seriously in my devotional service, if he loves me, if he is rendering service with love and devotion, even if he's doing something wrong, something strange, something inappropriate, still I accept him as my devotee, as a sadhu, as a great spiritual personality. So this is the vision of Krishna. And we have to learn. We should develop also the same vision. Sometimes when devotees are living very close with each other in a community or in a temple, it's very easy to develop familiarity. And because of familiarity, we start sometimes seeing more the apparent faults or maybe apparent some bad habits in the character of the devotee rather than focusing on his good qualities. But Krishna is not doing this. Why? Because this is not the reality. Actually, the reality is that the devotees, they are pure souls, pure and sincere souls by heart. And yes, still they may have some small material contaminations, but actually this is very temporary. Krishna is saying very soon, very, very soon, this person will become completely righteous, dharmatma. This will become very, very, very soon. So why focusing on it? Actually, it's not real. It doesn't exist from the perspective of spiritual reality. So the way how Krishna is dedicated to his devotees, we should try also follow in his footsteps, and we should try also to become very dedicated to the devotees. And practically, what does that mean? Well, if we really appreciate the devotees, if we really appreciate the opportunity that we have to be close to the devotees, that means we should try to serve them. Service means love, Srila Prabhupada said. So if we really appreciate the devotees, that means we should try to serve them, do something for them. This will show our real appreciation. Now we can serve in a different ways. We can do menial service for them. We can serve them by just being their friend, or sometimes they may need to share and we can listen to them. We may serve them by cooking for them and serving them prasadam and seeing how they are enjoying the prasadam. There are many varieties of service that we can do for the devotees. But the main point is, if we really appreciate the devotees, we have to try to serve them one way or other. And we see this is the greatest pleasure for Krishna. This is what he wants to do. He wants to experience this special ecstasy, happiness that comes from rendering devotional service. Rendering devotional service to Krishna rendering devotional service to the devotees of Krishna, because actually this is the thing that makes Krishna the happiest of all. He is happy when a devotee is rendering direct devotional service. But when Krishna sees that the devotee is trying to render devotional service to his devotee, this makes him even more happy. That's why Krishna is saying in Adi Purana, it's not my devotee, the person who is saying that is my devotee. Actually, my real devotee is the person who is taking the position of devotee of my devotee. Okay. These are the things I wanted to say. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. So if you want to add, share something or ask something.
Prabhu, I'd like to thank you for a really nice class.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
And what is wonderful to hear. Interesting to hear about Krishna's interactions with his devotees. I think as devotees, we're always anxious to try to understand more about Krishna's personality, his activities with his devotees. And also, it's always very helpful to think about our relationships with other devotees and how to appreciate other devotees, how to properly associate with devotees, how to avoid offenses or simply taking devotees for granted. Every day I look at the devotees around me. I think about these various individuals. I see individuals like yourself giving class and other devotees who are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam class every day, and I marvel at how extraordinary it is that here are individuals who have chosen to dedicate their lives to devotional service to Krishna. They have other options. They could be engaged in all different types of sense gratification. It's a big, wide world full of opportunity. There are so many directions that one could go in. And the general populace is inclined to indulge their senses exclusively, and they have no thought of devotional service, not inclined to deny their senses in any way. It just strikes me as extraordinary that there are individuals in this world who voluntarily choose to refrain from all kinds of sense gratification, and rather than engaging their full time and energy in serving themselves, they have chosen to serve Krishna and his devotees. What an extraordinary thing that is. How rare are those individuals? They're very rare and unusual personalities. And I feel very blessed to have the association of such individuals. When you meet somebody who's prepared to give up permanently the types of sense gratification that the general populace regards as paramount in life, it means that they must have, you mentioned the story of the Chintamani stone. being given away by, was it Sanatan Goswami or Rupa Goswami
Yeah.
that had the stone? Yeah, so, and, so the individual who had begged for that stone reasoned correctly that, there must be something greater that he has. He's willing to abandon that stone. And so the devotees, if they're willing to, for example, give up illicit sex life, to take a vow to give up illicit sex life permanently, that's an extraordinary thing. That's extraordinary. Who would do that? So it means that they must have something greater. And if they have something greater, whatever it is they have, I want some of that. The nature of devotees, we recite every day prayers to the Vaishnavas. They are just like desire trees who can fulfill the desires of everyone. The devotees are willing to share what they have. So my aspiration is to learn how to associate with devotees and somehow or other to please them by my service, and to try to induce them to share what they have, because obviously what they have is extremely valuable, so valuable that the greatest pleasures of material life pale in comparison. So whatever that is, I want some of that. Thanks again, Prabhu.
Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you for the nice words of appreciation of the devotees. I was also thinking, what is the great quality actually of the devotee? Exactly this surrender, that they want to surrender to Krishna, to live spiritual life. This make them special. This makes them exceptional. Outside in the world, there are so many qualified people, like better workers than us, more intelligent people, better managers. But one thing is very, very special for the devotees, exactly this quality, that they decided to give their energy for Krishna and not for themselves. So that's the quality of a devotee that really should be appreciated. Krishna Eka Sharana. They decided to take shelter of Krishna, to surrender their life to Krishna. That's really something special, exceptional. And also I was thinking in this regard, like sometimes we stress a lot on preaching, like going out and bringing people, making people devotees. And of course, this is very important, and we are doing it, and we will continue doing it, because that was the desire of Srila Prabhupada and our previous acharyas. But actually, sometimes we are meditating on how to bring new people, but actually in between us, we don't do properly, we don't take properly care for the devotees who are around us. So some people, they already came. Now, first thing is we should try to keep them and have a nice natural relationship between ourselves. And if this happens, then bringing more people, it will be kind of natural consequence of this. Because all the people, they want to find a good association, good people, to be part of a good community. That's kind of natural thing. So yeah, I think so. If we learn how to appreciate and associate in a better way, people outside, they will also automatically appreciate this. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So anything else?
I have something else.
Yes.
I'm curious to know something more about you. I have not met you before, and I wonder if you could tell us a little briefly about uh, how and where you became a devotee. And it looks like you're in New York. How did you come to be in New York?
Yes, sure, Prabhu. Well, I met the devotees in my country, Bulgaria, Europe. That was, I think, 1997. And then 2-3 years later, when I finished my education, I joined the temple there. And then I met my good friend Pandava Prabhu, who is also giving classes sometimes here on this Zoom. And together with him, we decided to go to India to study. And this is how our life developed, more or less. For many years, we were staying 4, 5, 6 months in a year in Mayapur in India and studying there. He was developing some curriculums for the Gurukul in Mayapur, for the education of the Gurukul, and I was helping him also in this. And we were studying different courses, and this continued for 14, 15 years maybe. And then one day my spiritual master called me, His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj, and said, we have this big project in New York, and it's really big project, and we need people to come and help there. So please come and help me. And he told me, Jayadvaita Maharaj is pushing me, and I am pushing you. Please don't refuse. Please just come and help me. So this is what happened. I came here in New York, and now the plan is that we'll try to spend at least 6 months every year here in New York, helping the devotees, the preaching, with whatever we can. We are trying to develop some educational institution gradually in the temple, in the Brooklyn temple. It's called the Bhakti School. So it's just the project is in the beginning, but gradually we hope to have many seminars offering to the devotees online and in person, and workshops and many other things. So I pray for your blessing so that this project may become successful. Hare Krishna.
Jai Prabhu, thank you. That was wonderful to hear. Very enlivening.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.